Hey guys, how's it going? Hope everybody's all doing well. In today's video, I just want to talk about the big fight that's just been announced between Errol Spence Jr. and Manny Pacquiao. Now, Pacquiao's coming off of a good victory, good solid victory over Keith Thurman in a fight in which he dropped Thurman twice en route to a pretty comfortable points victory. Now, that fight was about 2 years ago, so there is a possibility that there may be a bit of ring rust for Pacquiao. That's quite a long layoff. But the way I'm looking at it is it's probably going to be beneficial for Pacquiao because in those 2 years he didn't take any damage. He was able to rest and heal up and try and keep the body as young as possible and try and keep fighting off Father Time. So now Errol Spence, he's coming off a good solid victory over Danny Swift Garcia, which is his comeback fight since being involved in that terrible car crash. And in that fight against Garcia, Spence said he was at about 70 or 80% for that fight, and he still won that fight pretty comfortably on points. And in my opinion, I do believe that Spence wasn't quite at 100% for that fight. And like I say, he still won pretty comfortably, so that sets up this big matchup now between Pacman and Spence. And I see a lot of people online are picking Errol Spence, saying that, Pacquiao's bitten off more than he can chew. He's too old. He shouldn't be fighting these guys. He's going to get hurt. This is going to be his last fight. It's going to end badly. And all these types of comments. In my opinion, though, I'm looking at this fight like it could go either way pretty much. I think it's a damn near 50-50 fight. And actually, at the moment, I'm leaning towards Manny Pacquiao slightly. And I'll tell you guys why. Pacquiao showed in that Keith Thurman fight, look, he still has superior speed, both hand speed and foot speed, to all the new welterweights in this new crop. Like I say, in this new crop of welterweights, he showed he still has superior hand speed and foot speed to all these guys. And the other thing is, power is the last to go, and he showed in the Keith Thurman fight as well. He still has his power. He dropped Thurman twice. So he's still dangerous to any fighter in the welterweight division because he still has his speed and he still has his power. Now, obviously, Spence does have all the physical attributes on his side. He's the much younger fighter. He's the much, bigger, taller, longer fighter in this fight. But Pacquiao's seen it all before. He has a boatload of experience. He's been in there with 154-pounders before that are, taller than him, bigger than him, stronger than him, some hit harder than him, and he's seen it all before. So I don't think being in this fight with Spence is going to be a shock for him. I think it's going to be more of a shock for Spence, and he's going to have to make the adjustments to Pacquiao's suddenness and his speed and his power. I think Spence is going to get a shock at how fast and strong Pacquiao still is at this age. Now, like I say, this is a very interesting matchup, and I think Pacquiao is still one of the most dangerous guys in the sport and in this welterweight division. I'd also just like to say Pacquiao deserves, a boatload of credit just for taking this fight because, he's not in his prime anymore. If this was a prime Pacquiao, I'd probably be picking Pacquiao to win this pretty comfortably. But at 42 years old, he's still taking the best fights out there and picking the best opponents that he can get. He was trying to fight Crawford. He couldn't get that deal worked out, so he took the fight against Spence. He's looking to fight the two best guys in the division. And who knows, if he gets through Spence, he may still go back and fight Crawford. And I think if he beats Errol Spence, in my opinion, he has got a claim to be the GOAT. I'm not saying that he definitely is the GOAT, but I'm saying he has got a claim to be the GOAT. And if he still goes on and beats Crawford, then he's going to have a really strong claim to be the GOAT, of the sport of boxing. Now, obviously, people say, he lost to Floyd, he's been knocked out, he's been beat a few times, and all these negative comments to try and take away from his accomplishments in the sport. But I still think he has the most credentials and accomplishments out of any boxer of all time, because you look at Pacquiao, he's an 8-division world champ. He's won championships across more divisions than any other fighter in the sport of boxing, and he's also beaten more world champions in the sport of boxing than any fighter ever has. And I know a lot of people also try and knock that by saying, well, look, there's so many world champions in boxing today that it's easy to rack up a bunch of wins against a bunch of world champs. But look, if he beats Errol Spence and he beats Crawford, he's going to have a really strong claim to say he's the GOAT of the sport of boxing. Now, let's focus on this fight here against Errol Spence. And talk about the advantages that I see that Pacquiao has in this fight. And I think Pacquiao's going to cause Spence a lot of problems in this fight. Like I say, with his superior hand speed and foot speed, he's able to also use his great legs to use that lateral movement and stay out of the pocket. That's what I think Pacquiao's going to do in this fight. I think he's going to be staying on the outside, using lateral movement, staying out the pocket, resting a little bit on the outside, and then he'll explode in with that suddenness, because he's still got that suddenness where he explodes into the pocket with combinations, fast, hard combinations, hitting you with power shots, 3, 4, 5 power shots all at once. And I think that's going to be a surprise for Errol Spence. He hasn't been in there with a guy that can do that. That's as sudden as Pacman. So what we saw in that fight against Keith Thurman is the only thing I can see that's kind of slipped in Pacquiao's game. He has slowed down a little bit. His speed is not what it once was, but like I say, it's still better than, he's still faster than everybody in this new crop and batch of welterweights. He still has the speed advantage. But what I have seen in his game is the one thing that has slipped with Pacquiao is his gas tank seems to empty a little bit faster. He can't keep up that ferocious pace that he once could for a full 12 rounds. So we saw in the Thurman fight, he was dominating the fight early. He was dropping Keith Thurman. He was, like I say, he was dominating. He was winning convincingly. But when it came down to the last 4 rounds, you saw he started to kind of slow down a bit. And Keith Thurman was able to try and pull his way back into the fight. And he was trying to, big man Pacquiao was trying to walk him down with a high guard. He was throwing, powerful, hard shots, which he was hitting Pacman with. But Pacquiao showed in that fight he's still very durable, and his experience and boxing IQ was able to get him through those last couple of rounds, even though his gas tank was emptying. Now, that's the only thing I can see that's really kind of hindering Pacquiao at this point in his career, is his gas tank. And I think that may be a problem in this fight against Errol Spence, because that's one thing I'll say about Errol Spence is he doesn't get tired. He's able to keep that same pace up for a full 12 rounds. He's one of the fittest fighters in the sport. And he has, like I say, he has all the physical advantages on his side. Earl is a very big, strong, and long fighter in the welterweight division. He has very good boxing fundamentals, very good balance, and he's an extremely well-rounded fighter. I'm not sure if he has a great jab, but he's got a very good jab. Like I say, he has, one of the best balance, and he has pretty good footwork as well. He can cut the ring off well when he's walking you down. And like I say, his gas tank, it doesn't fade throughout the 12 rounds. So he's going to be in there, making Pacquiao fight hard for a full 12 rounds. Now that's what worries me about this fight, is I'm not sure that Pacquiao can fight that hard for a full 12 rounds. But I think Pacquiao's he's gonna build a lead early in the fight, in my opinion, because Pacquiao starts real fast in all these fights, like he did in the Thurman fight. He blitzed him early, he put him down early, and he stacked up a big lead in that fight. I think he's going to do the same thing in this fight. He's going to come out fast. He's going to come out blazing, fast, hard combinations, eye-catching shots. I think he may hurt Earl in this fight too. Earl hasn't got one of the best chins in boxing. We've seen Earl get staggered and buzzed before. Now he's in there with probably his most dangerous opponent ever. I won't be surprised if Earl gets dropped as well in this fight. So I think Pacquiao's going to come out, like I say, with a fast start, and I think he's going to be building up a solid lead in this fight. And then once it hits the back stretch of the fight, I think Earl's going to start coming back hard in this fight. I think he's going to start, like I say, really pressuring Pacquiao, and he's probably going to need a knockout to win, in my opinion. Because, like I said, I think Pacquiao's going to build up that solid of a lead that Spence may need a knockout to win. But that's one way the fight could go. The other way the fight could go is you may see Spence, try and keep the fight at a distance like he did to Mikey Garcia. Control the distance, keep the guy at bay with a jab. Because, like I say, he has got a really good jab, and he has got the height and reach advantage in this fight. So he may try and tame Pacquiao with the jab. But there's very few fights over Pacquiao's long career where you can actually look at guys' names on his resume and fights throughout his career and say, this guy was able to control Pacquiao with a jab and keep him at bay and control him at distance. Like I say, it's really hard to pick. I mean, you can maybe say the Floyd Mayweather fight. Floyd was able to do that, but control the distance, use the jab, tie up Pacquiao. But like I say, very few fights and fighters that were able to do that. And that's due to Pacquiao's suddenness and his explosive footwork and his speed. He'll be outside a distance, so he's outside of your jabbing range. And then next second he explodes and he's in the pocket and he's hitting you with 3 or 4 hard combinations that are hurting you. So, like I say, that's one approach Spence could take in this fight, but I'm not sure he's going to be able to do that. I really haven't seen many guys be able to do that to Pacquiao. I don't think Spence is going to be the guy to do that in this fight. So, like I say, I'm leaning towards Manny Pacquiao probably winning a tough competitive unanimous or points decision in this fight. And the reason I say it's going to be tough is, like I say, I think Pacquiao's going to come out the gates fast. He's going to be doing really well in the fight. I think he's going to be, building a lead, stacking up the rounds. But once it's from the 8th round on, I think Spence is going to start coming back in this fight. And I think, Spence he is a good body puncher and he is a good pressure fighter. So when he's coming back in the 8th round, it's going to be a tough couple rounds, tough 4 or 5 rounds for Pacquiao to get through. But like I say, Pacquiao has got the experience in boxing IQ to get through those 3, 4, 5 rounds, even when he's running low on gas. Now, the other thing I see people saying is, with Spence's body attack, he's going to break Pacquiao down and stop Pacquiao. Very few fights where you really see Pacquiao getting work to the body like that as well, due to his footwork. It's hard to get up close on Pacquiao. Pacquiao's not really an inside fighter. He doesn't let you get on the inside. Pacquiao's a guy that, he stays outside the pocket, and then he explodes into the pocket and he hits you with a couple shots, then he gets back out and he's on the move again. He's got great legs, and he's a shorter guy as well. Like I say, Spence has the height advantage, but is it really an advantage when Spence is, a great body puncher and he may not be able to get those body shots off on Pacquiao due to Pacquiao being a shorter fighter that knows how to fight short? Because Pacquiao knows how to fight short. Pacquiao's, he's seen it all in the game. He's been in there with all styles. He's real good against southpaws too. That's another thing. I think Spence is going to be struggling more to fight a southpaw than Pacquiao's going to be struggling to fight a southpaw. So, it's an interesting matchup in my opinion. He isn't in his prime anymore. If he was in his prime, I'd probably be picking him a lot more confidently. But, I still think he has what it takes to get the job done at the highest level in the sport. So, like I say, I'm picking Pacquiao to win by decision in this fight. I wouldn't be surprised. Though, if Errol Spence is able to pull it off. Like I say, it's a very tough fight for both men. I don't think Errol can stop Pacquiao early in the fight. If he stops Pacquiao, I think it's going to be late. Pacquiao, getting very fatigued if he's able to stop Pacquiao. Like I say, I think Pacquiao's the bigger puncher in this fight. So if somebody gets knocked out with a headshot, I think it's more likely to be Errol Spence. But, accumulation of damage can stop a man too. And if Pacquiao's getting tired and, Spence is accumulating damage, he could stop Pacquiao that way. But, like I say, I'm picking Pacquiao to win on points. I think he's going to be able to stack up the rounds early. I do think it is going to get tough for him late. But like I say, he still has the, the boxing IQ and the experience, as well as the, the footwork and legs to get him through those last couple of rounds, even when he's slowing down. So that's my pick and opinion on the fight, guys. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are. Who you guys picking to win this fight? How do you guys see it going? Let me know in the comment section below, guys. Thanks for listening. Talk to you guys again soon. Cheers.